couldn't have held this 2 watches ago. But also, I mean, not really. All right, full wide. Thank you.
Athomastus, maybe? That one, although that stock looks quite a bit different.
Alrighty, next step's going to be 20 meters.
Roger.
Bridge nav. Request 20 meter step, bearing 120. Thank you. Got about 30 meters to go to what we're seeing on sonar there.
Looks good.
I'm curious about. I want to ask Ed about installing a soundboard. I think that was a great idea.
I think
Yeah, that is a great
I
idea.
second that.
So then, like when we hit the bottom, we can have like a ka-ching. You know,
it's just like all old-fashioned, like AOL, like leaving chat room sounds.
The door slam.
Oh, we got a shift change.
You got mail.
I'm gonna do some Foley on the next dive.
That's a great idea.
And I might bring some props, so get excited.
I'm already excited.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm here for it.
We've got a Chris K writing in about C-pens. Is this Chris Kelly watching and writing in?
I suspect so.
Hey,
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. If so, he says that the thing that we saw with the stock, that was a C-pen of some sort.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you
Pulling
very
on
much
Argus a little
for
bit
writing
there.
in.
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Sounds
something
good.
besides just sediment.
All right.
And now approaching the cone. It should dramatically change landscape.
And we still have half a watch left.
Yeah.
Yay. Let's see some life.
The next watch just comes up anyways. Like, get out of our way. It's our turn.
What do you know about a volcano?
You did your job, C. Uber. Get out of the way.
See you, Uber.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
Have you guys seen the trailer for the Disney Nature Penguin film that's coming out?
No.
Nope, have
Is
not.
this different than Happy Feet?
Yeah, it's different than Happy Feet.
Is it also different than the March of the Penguins?
March of the Penguins. Does it have Morgan Freeman?
Nope, no Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
It's
Awesome.
directed by Werner
But
Herzog.
you gotta, no, it's not by
Shout out to
Werner
my
Herzog.
favorite documentary
Shout out,
maker ever.
shout out, WH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also take narration by Betty White. That would be.
Oh, that'd be great.
Ooh.
Bob Saget did a
Be great.
farce of the Penguins.
Oh, yes, he did.
No, but the new trailer is it's a Disney Nature, so it's very character driven, and it's like all this dramatic music, and
Got a
then
lot
it's
of
like this
sound
close up
effects?
of this penguin, and it's like Steve. The penguin's
I know exactly what you're talking
They
like.
named
The
the
kind
penguin
of
Steve. So the whole film's about a penguin named Steve.
Jeez, I got to see this.
This is Steve.
Probably Mark has it.
No, I think Mark had a media problem. His like hard drive's corrupted.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
I don't think it's out yet,
Oh, well, that
but
too.
maybe he's got that, working for the government deal that
Yeah.
Chris has got.
So check out these rocks, guys.
Well,
Anything worth sampling?
Not yet.
And
I like the kind of like sample shopper you are, Kevin. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
Very
we're
particular.
gonna find something real good later. I can tell.
Yeah.
Looking for the
Can
best
feel
come-ups.
Good discipline. A lot of
Yeah.
people fill the boxes up right away, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't take any more."
I
Well-
didn't think we'd see more.
I'm the curator for the Oceanus Explorer. So I get sent a lot of things that are not basalts and not what anyone asked for, because that's just the first thing they grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you're a pro.
well, and I don't know if I'm a pro, but I'm certainly nervous that I'm going to trash talk all these people and then pick up a whole bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Kylie, do you remember last year when we sampled like a ring? It looked like a ring on the bottom of the sea. and-
I do recall it was like a anthropogenic, some kind of keychain, large keychain. It wasn't really a keychain,
ended
but
up
that's
being
how
like
it could be described.
It ended up being like a fish and weight or something, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway.
something to that effect. It was cool. It had like engravings on it. Yeah. You wanted to
Bridge
keep
now?
that for your desk, as far as I can remember, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
was.
One more
take
step,
it home
please.
with you, but it became a
I
sample.
think I like really lobbied to pick it up, and then,
Yes.
and then everyone was like, "Why did we take that?"
Now it's at URI forever.
They were like, "I have to ship this. We have to ship this back. It's like a lead weight."
We got the go ahead, you know.
Yeah,
We
I mean-
only suggest.
I don't. It's not my call.
Power of persuasion.
Yeah.
And Chris Kelly, if you're still watching, we've got a few viewers who are writing in to say that they miss you on on the feed. So hope you're enjoying quote unquote retirement. We know you're still working on stuff though, as always.
He needs a direct feed into our lab.
I don't think he slept at all during the Papahanao Mokuakia expedition. He was, every time I turned around, he was in the control van.
Is he a lead psi?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
There aren't many jobs you retire from and then go ahead and watch your job again.
Yeah. Well, he was also supposedly in retirement while he was being a lead
Oh,
scientist.
nice. I mean, hey, you got to keep yourself busy, right?
Exactly.
Scientists don't really ever retire. They just kind of do away with administrative duties
Yeah.
and focus
Less,
on their
less emails.
more science.
Oh, sorry, I can't. I'm retired. Just went on that expedition. No.
You heard me. Right, hoping for some corals. So, just to be clear, we're going to be traversing sort of up the slope of this this cone. Are we going to be hanging out at the top for a while, or are we going to go up and down and...
Probably depends on what's there.
Cool. Stay tuned, viewers.
Judging by the last two watches, I guess there's a lot along the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I sleep, there are massive coral communities that I discover. So I have yet to see any real densely populated areas on this expedition.
Bridge now.
So what you're saying is that if I
One more
want,
step, please.
if I want to see it, you should go take a nap.
Yeah, so if we're all on board, I'll be back in 2 hours.
I saw in one of the other watches on this dive they had a huge cliff. Was that some? Do we know if that's something we knew was there as a feature from our mapping, or?
On this dive?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was on this dive, or was it the last one?
I think it was the last one.
There was a huge cliff on the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely
They're
some
bleeding
steep
together.
bathymetry. So it's possible.
And since you are still watching here, Chris, just wanted to give a shout out
Could
to
we get
your
a zoom in the middle on that pinkish patch?
Yeah, go ahead, video.
shout out to your ID courses, crash courses on the ship last time. They are coming in handy on this one as well. For example, this looks like Iridagorgia.
With a shrimp associate?
So what was the general consensus of which way they typically spiral?
Clockwise.
But they can change.
Is that clockwise looking from the base up?
Or from the...
Because this would be counterclockwise
Yeah.
if you're looking from the top down.
I
Yeah.
don't
From-
think it's top down. I think it's like
The
From
base
their
down.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as it
Their
comes
gr-
up,
their
that makes more
growth.
sense.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the zoom.
Roger. Wide.
Bridge nav. One more step, please. Oh, that's colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to skip that one and get ahead a bit here.
That was a stocked crinoid.
Are stocked crinoids more or less common than the unstocked variety?
It really depends where you are. We've been seeing a lot more of the stocked variety on these dives, but elsewhere you would see more of the unstocked variety. So yeah, it just depends.
Yeah, little
Sponge.
little plug for the
Want to zoom on that?
Yes, please.
photo
Go ahead,
album
video.
that I put together last cruise. There was a really cool tall sponge with like 10 super bright yellow unstocked crinoids all gathered at the top of it. It was like a big bouquet. It's really cool.
Wow.
And look at these.
This is little
Little
brittle
party.
star habitat here. Very nice.
Full zoom.
And is that one of those blue polychaetes kind of below it that
Yeah, it might
yeah.
be.
David pointed out?
Good eye.
Well, I was looking to
All
the
right.
left of it because I
Wide,
thought
please.
that that lump was a mollusk. And so when I realized it wasn't, my eye went to the worm.
Bridge nav. One more step, please. Now, is that a change in rock color or just more sediment covering it?
It's a change in morphology, so the sediment looks a little bit different on it. Because with pillows and low baits, you get more pockets of sediment. With these more sheet-like flows, sediment falls on top and covers it.
Looks like you can see the layering in this piece. It's cool.
Yeah.
So that would be some like faster flows that kind of float over each other.
Yeah, probably. Probably some impact from the slope on how it was moving. But really big slabs in the
Yeah.
Argus view. It's cool.
Could we get a zoom?
Yeah, go ahead, video.
Anyone see dark bands?
No.
I
I
see
little
a
bit.
dark band towards
yeah.
the top and towards the
I
middle.
think
Near the lasers,
yeah.
there's a
Oh,
yeah,
band.
there's one.
yeah, they're
yeah.
pale, but
Yeah.
they're there.
And they're
So
towards the bottom.
Bamboo.
yeah, I was about to say. So who can name this coral?
Name that coral.
All right, we're good. Thank you very much.
Roger, wide please.
The Argus view is awesome.
Yeah,
So
really
cool.
cool, huh?
Yeah.
Just a reminder, our viewers at home, you can check out the HercCam, but you can also check out Argus view and see above Hercules to get a bigger context for the area that we're in. And it is a really cool view right now, so I encourage you to check it out.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
So is this quite steep where we're going up right now?
A bit.
So-so.
Can't really tell
I'm
from
having
the
to, like,
perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of have to truck it a little bit to keep up.
Chris can measure it for us on the contours.
Yeah, so, I mean, is the contour
What
map
is-
still on the quad view?
It is.
It is.
Okay, so you can see the scale in the bottom left of the screen in meters. So between the contours looks like about 10 meters, while they're an increase in elevation of about 5 meters. So about every 10 meters we move across the bottom, we're coming up 5 meters.
Got it.
Oh, I think we can do some geometry with those sides.
Rise
Find
and
the-
run
Yeah,
and
yeah.
slope.
I can figure out the hypotenuse.
Yeah, yeah, you can
Y
figure
equals
out the hypotenuse.
mx plus b.
You know, I never thought I'd like math or be good at math, or at least not based on like past history. But I don't know. It started like once you figure out it's just a language, and you can figure out how to read it and see what it's asking you. It's really pretty straightforward. I
Yeah.
started tutoring to help other like people find those patterns. You know, learn that
Cool.
language.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was in Calc 2 that I really started to appreciate math. Like,
I was not appreciating math in calc.
Yeah, it wasn't until I actually took physics.
That's all you.
well, that is as far as I went. And it was my final class in college, and I was just happy to pass it.
If anybody has any calculus questions, sure, let me know.
Yeah, because Calc 1 I actually took twice, and so I was not sure if I was going to be able to pass Calc 2 in my final semester of college, and I pulled it out.
You did
Nice.
great.
All right.
Bridge nav.
But I actually
One more
work.
step, please.
I work with an educator. I worked with. She's moved on to a different job, but she has a background in math, and her goal is to sort of get people to see that math is a language that just takes some getting your
Practice.
perspective, getting your practice, because there is a huge occurrence of math anxiety in the world, sort of from the way that it's given to us in younger levels, and it's been found that 1 or 2 bad experiences with math as a young kid can sort of
Could we
sour
get a zoom
it
on that?
for the rest of your life. So math is cool, kids.
It took me
Yeah, go ahead, video.
all through grade school. I didn't really understand. It was like, oh, I have to take these classes. It wasn't until I actually got to college and it started being applied to my major that it became a lot more apparent how it could be useful. I kept getting told like, oh, you're going to use math. But it wasn't until like I started doing things with it, like actual.
All right,
Until
thank
someone
you.
said, "This is how you use
Yeah,
math."
Okay, so
exactly. Like, oh, those equations weren't useless. What do you know? And then you're like struggling to, you know, remember everything that you learned previously.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, we got a question for you. What
Sure.
does one more step mean?
Yeah, so a little while ago I talked about our dynamic positioning system.
Mm-hmm.
So basically as we're moving the ship, we're asking them to put in what we call steps. So they're moves of a size we are determining. So currently, when I call in a step, it is moving the ship 20 meters at 120 degrees true. So basically just scooting the ship sideways in small increments so that the ROVs are able to have time to look at what they want to look at and then catch up.
And so when you're just saying one more step, it's referring to the step that you
Same-
gave them previously.
Yes, same distance, same bearing, just tacking on one more to our movement.
Cool.
And I don't think you can hear at home, but when Chris is asking for those steps, there's somebody from the bridge is replying on our intercom system,
Mm-hmm.
you know, confirming that they are going to move the ship. So there's a back and forth going on there.
Yeah, because the bridge, nav, and the ROVs are all working together to move where we need to move on the seafloor.
It's like
Bridge
this,
nav. One more step, please. So, yeah,
There you go.
that would be another
Could we
20
get a
meters.
zoom on the edge of that? Oh wait, I think that's actually just another crinoid.
Oh.
We're good.
Pretty.
Okay.
Interesting. The large slabs must have just
Yeah,
slid down. Very
Yes.
clean break on this flow.
There's some critter right there.
Oh yeah, and the crack there.
Flows seem to get a lot thicker as we're getting towards the top.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be where the flow would be coming out of, right? The top of the cone.
Yeah.
So
Typically.
You can have fissures and stuff on the sides where they will leak out. But in this case, everything seems to be pointing nicely upward.
Can we zoom on that yellow feature? Ooh, and a primnoid or bamboo coral?
Let's try and get
Let's
both.
find out.
Yeah, both would be awesome.
Go ahead, video.
I'm not seeing bands.
They have been subtle sometimes, but I'm not seeing them either. So I would lean toward primnoid or
Okay,
primnoid.
come wide and I'll
depending.
try and get the other one before we're out of time here. Okay, come in.
A lot of associates.
Sorry.
Bridge nav. Another step, please.
Those brittle stars really wrap up in
Okay,
there.
wide.
Thank you.
Gotta run.
Would them like curling around so much be a matter of like holding on to against whatever
Bless you.
current might be passing through?
I don't think we have the level of current that would require them to hold on that much.
Just sort of hugging, hugging on. Have we or maybe other expeditions ever come across an active seamount that was thought to be dormant?
None that I think were thought to be dormant. I mean, I think you've dived on Vailulu, or
Yeah,
was that NOAA?
didn't we do Loihi
Oh, no.
too last year? Was that?
Yeah, Loihi is active.
That's pretty long.
You're going to be diving on Vailulu later this season. That's an active volcano.
But we know that those are active.
Yeah, I don't think there's any instances where we have discovered something that we didn't think was active.
And active doesn't necessarily mean erupting.
Yeah, currently.
It could
I
be
think it's defined as like in the last 30,000 years.
Yeah.
There's a cutoff point. I don't remember exactly.
But we look for a lot of indicators like venting or diffuse flow. So look for shimmery water from seawater that's been entrained in the crust that's coming back out of the crust and is heated by the magma below.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool shimmering on
already?
Gorda Ridge.
Keep mixing up the Zulu time.
Some more questions about the brittle stars. And I know that they're the ones that we are seeing are typically the mutualist with the corals sort of hanging out to grab into the flow. But are there brittle stars that eat the corals that we know of?
I believe, I believe some of them might eat the coral.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
The ones we're seeing are, as you said, though, typically mutualistic relationship. They help keep the coral clean, and they get an elevated position off the seafloor. Maybe a hungry brittle star would resort to eating its coral friend. Maybe a different species of brittle star would predate on them.
Deep sea.
Like marooned down on a. Like, sorry, buddy.
But yeah, there could be other species of brittle stars that don't have that mutualistic relationship and just predate on corals. I'm not sure of the specifics.
Now, if there was a brittle star on a coral and another one wanted that coral, would they predate each other?
Yeah, good question.
Maybe. Maybe they'd fight it out.
Like a slap
Really
fight
The
with their big long
strongest
arms.
brittle star gets the coral.
I've seen quite a few where there's many brittle stars on one coral, though. They seem to
Yeah, something.
sort of share the
Could we
space, real estate.
zoom bottom,
Oh, yeah.
middle?
Let's see.
Yeah, so it
Fish
also
pretty much center too.
it can also be coral species specific. Like there's certain corals that we
Okay, video.
almost only see a single brittle star associate, and then like the previous one we saw many brittle stars on the same coral. So there's some variety with brittle star and coral species there too.
Speak of the devil.
Yep.
So the brittle star that we're talking about is the pinkish arms that are wrapped around
Looks like an anemone on there too.
the coral.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. That towards the bottom?
Sort of near the middle. There might be one
Oh,
near
I see the one
there
in
might
the
be a
middle.
tiny one near the bottom
Yeah,
too.
smaller one on the bottom.
I see the one in the middle now, too.
Yeah, it's on the back side of the coral, so you can just see color.
Bridge nav.
Okay, video, come wide.
One more step, please.
And how fast are the ROVs moving right now through the water?
Probably doing about 0.2, 0.3, but a lot of the going uphill, so the motion is kind of, you know, split between forward and going up.
And 0.2, 0.3. What exactly?
Maybe more like 0.2.
Knots.
Knots.
Not gotcha.
And I'm winching vertical, like 16, 15 meters per minute.
Got it. Cool, thank you.
As he goes, as Herc goes.
Knots being slightly faster than miles per hour.
Thank you.
And we're just about at the top.
Almost there. Yeah, just under 150 meters.
You think you might want to sample from this
I
feature?
do, but I have yet to see a loose rock in the last like 20 minutes. So if we do see like some kind of talus.
Maybe right ahead of us where this kind of collapsed.
Alright.
It looks kind of...
There's a star-like shape real far on the edge up ahead. Anyone else see that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. King of the hill.
Bridge nav.
Do a gauge check.
Sure, yeah.
One more step, please.
Thank you.
Another C-pen.
Do you say C-pin or C-fan?
C-pen.
Is
It looked like this. It looked like there was a similar one to the one that we saw in the sediment. This one was in sediment as well.
In view right now or already out of view?
No, we passed it.
Gotcha. Looks like a loose rock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seems kind of big though. Oh, looks like we're coming up on some loose rocks.
Yeah.
Bridge nav.
You want to have a sniff around here?
Yeah,
One more step, please.
And so we are now towards the top of one of these volcanic cones that we're looking at here off of Palmyra Atoll. And so we're going to start checking
Actually,
out some
Chris,
of
just
these
stop the
rocks.
ship here for a minute.
Roger that. Bridge nav. Hold position, please.
So for these rocks,
Any of these ones above the lasers now
We-
look like candidates?
A little thin, maybe slightly below, if possible.
Yeah.
so
Like
we
more round, less thin.
That one's kind of big, but that one's good, leaning up against the...
Yeah, that's kind of the one I was looking at.
Get the iris down a little bit.
Oh.
So to the left of the lasers, I don't know how loose they are, but those ones look alright. And now above the lasers.
Yeah, I think I see where you're going, yeah.
So we don't want to put the rocks on the corals, right? So
Correct.
were you planning to double stack the rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
how
think
are
we-
we distinguishing the rocks?
By your amazing descriptions in the notes.
The Argus gonna put down all
Good
the way.
360 videos.
Roger that.
You rock, Jamie.
I think they were also pretty large in the bio boxes, so I think one will stay on top of the other.
Okay.
So if you can grab the one light, now that the lasers are touching.
Roger.
It's
Full
pretty big.
wide.
Do we have room in one of the larger boxes for another large rock?
I don't know without seeing the actual size of the rocks. The potential bins that we would be talking about that maybe we could peek inside or something are the forward port bio box, and on the starboard end of things we could have
Show me the arm with the bubble.
starboard large compartment on the forward side, and the aftmost, this rock is too large for that though, but our
Okay.
aftmost small compartment has a rock as well.
You want to get a zoom in there first?
Yes, please.
I'm just wondering if you want to look in the bio box before we grab it too. Just to
Yeah, could do.
We're good on the zoom, thank you.
Coming wide.
Okay. You want to see in the starboard box?
Full wide.
yeah, we should, because we didn't see the samples before, so just want to see if
Okay, I'm gonna open that up there, Kylie.
you're saying forward box, right?
We have one option, the forward box, one option,
So we can't put it in the forward.
yeah, so the larger aft compartment
just
in
pull it.
there looks like it's got room for another rock.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, just hide the little ones just in
Okay.
case something blows out of there.
Yeah.
So there is a small rock in the.
There's some kind of rock in
Looks
that
like there's
one.
a coral.
There's a coral
in
in
that
the
one.
big one.
In the forward one, but in the aft
Yeah.
one, there's supposed to.
It looks like.
Oh wait,
Is
no,
there a
you're
sea star
right.
in
Yeah.
You're right. That is a coral.
Looks like there's a coral back there, so we can't use either of those.
Okay, so what about the forward bio box, port side?
Okay.
If that's true though, then we only really have room for one more rock unless we stacked several in the forward compartment.
Tool tray out.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think that one's going to be too big. Yeah, definitely not fitting on the right there. Could
I
probably-
can't fit on that.
Yeah.
Left.
They
We're
could
going for
yeah.
Oh,
left.
in there probably.
Yeah.
The right side of the forward bio box has a sea star in it.
Okay, and that has a really large rock.
Okay,
so,
can you
yeah.
close that box for a bit?
Yes, of course.
Part way anyway. That should be fine there.
Okay.
Beauty.
So is this about 12 to 15
Some
centimeters
vesicles?
across?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one has large vesicles. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how. It's over 10 centimeters, so probably 12 to
don't-
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very little manganese.
Okay.
Okay, tool tray out.
Roger.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
And the other box it shares it with is pretty distinct looking from it. That one has oxidation on it.
Yeah. Until they both break.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, tool tray in.
Perfect. Thank you.
No sweat.
There's even room for more in there.
Yeah, we can drop another little guy in there.
Nav, could you drop a target there? And our sample number is 030.
Got it.
Our first sample.
Woohoo!
Yay! Now we just have to do a million more to catch up with last watch.
Yeah, I don't think we've sampled a biology yet on our watch.
No, no, we
Nope.
haven't.
Jamie, that's all you.
Yep. I'm just going to pick things on the nicest looking colors.
You guys ready to start moving again? Or you want
Yeah,
somebody-
call it in.
Alright, roger that. Bridge nav. One more step, please. Zero 30, you said, Jamie?
Yes, she did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I know that on our first dive at Kingman Reef, we really didn't see any plastics or debris that wasn't, you know, something that we would expect down here. Do we know if we've seen any on this dive so far?
Not that I've seen or heard of.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting because a lot of the dives that Nautilus has done, there have been, you know, notes of different sorts of debris, plastic, trash, other sorts of human stuff that's found its
Anthropogenic.
way. Yeah, that's found its way down to the seafloor, which is again just a reminder that is all one ocean. It's all connected, and the best way to keep stuff from getting to the seafloor is keeping it out of the ocean altogether. Looks like it might be another Iridogorgia in the corner there.
Where do you see it?
It just kind of got camouflaged on a rock, but bottom towards the middle now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And a glass sponge too.
Okay, zoom in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I thought it didn't have a shrimp friend, but it looks like it does.
It does.
It's amazing they all have one shrimp.
Don't want it to be lonely.
Coming in tighter.
And a reminder to our
Out
viewers
on the
at
end of our
home,
tether here.
From what?
that those green dots are lasers that give us scale down here. Those two green dots are 10 centimeters apart.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
Camera down all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie, I've got the sunrise up on multi-1 for you.
Ooh, pretty. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you can check out that quad view and see what we are not seeing as we sit in this dark control van. It looks beautiful.
I like how on these dives we go and sit in a really dark room, but then send the ROVs down and give them the most light that they've ever seen.
Yeah. Or ever will see.
I'm creeping up on Delta, but 20 meters on this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's
just
going to be a little bit tight
no problem.
coming down the side of the slope here.
Just wanna let you
Yeah,
know I'm
just
not
keep an eye on
slacking.
this, and yeah, you might have to, ride a fine line. Like you can try and come in a bit closer than that, because I'm at 25-meter delta now. It's hard to fly.
Okay.
Oh.
You can try to, like, 18, like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Just keep a good eye on it.
I took my gloves off to do the paper writing part of the sample log, and boy, my hands got cold so fast.
Get those gloves back on,
I
Jamie.
am.
Protect those
Phew.
fingers. Those typing fingers.
Typing fingers, gotta type.
We've actually got a question about how come we never see fish skeletons down here? My initial guess would be that we're not seeing like a huge. I mean, we're seeing some fish, but we're not seeing like a lot of them all over the place. So it would also be rarer to come across, those skeletons. But then also I would
Could we
think that
zoom on that stock? I'm wondering if it doesn't have any polyps, or if they're just small. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm done. I'm quiet.
But I would also think that like if fish died down here, they would take a long time to decompose, and they would probably get eaten by something else before that. I don't really know. What do you think,
Hey,
Jamie?
video, zoom in.
I think they would get eaten pretty quickly.
It'd also probably be hard to see.
Yeah.
Kind of transparent bones on white sediment.
Yeah, and get covered up by the sediment too.
And there's also a lot of current, so it's going to be moving around.
Oh, this is
Looks
cool.
like you were right, Jamie.
Yeah, so it's just the stalk, and it's got some other organisms on it, and some maybe small hydroids or something growing off of it, but yeah, no polyps.
And that would be bamboo coral, and we're
Yes.
seeing the little nodes actually very clear here.
All right, thank you for the zoom.
No sweat.
Yeah, definitely some hydroids growing on there.
Very cool.
So without polyps, how is it feeding?
It's not, it's dead.
Okay.
It is
Oh.
moved
Oh.
on.
Brittle star takes a dive.
But it's still providing a habitat for some other of the deep sea creatures, like the brittle stars still get elevated off the seafloor to access food in the current better, and the hydroids have somewhere to grow up in the current as well. So it's still got a nice function.
Still a team player.
Yep.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
Kind of in the middle of this little depression here.
Yeah, just be between two kind of peaks.
Yeah, you see in the sonar, it's like a little bowl.
Yeah.
Hey, Allison and science team.
Mm-hmm.
In reference to the lack of debris that we're seeing in this area, and we've got a viewer wondering how much the different gyres that we know kind of carry trash in the ocean, how much the location of those plays into the planning of our expeditions.
We certainly don't plan around that. And I guess one of the things that I would say is that plastics aren't necessarily concentrated as a floating mass like a lot of people think. It's they get broken down into small bits, and so it's actually more like plastic soup throughout the ocean.
Sort of mixed in with that marine snow.
Yeah, so there's small bits. So I mean, there's certainly areas that have concentrated areas of larger pieces, but it's not necessarily a floating mass of plastic or in trash that many people often think of.
And a lot of the graphics when you know the maps that show where these areas are, that's sort of how they're illustrated.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the Northwest Hawaiian Islands are sort of in the middle of a lot of different patch areas, right? When we were up there last year.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the currents are gonna and gyres are gonna be taking that trash and plastic until it runs into something.
One more step, please.
So if you've got a landmass that is sticking out in the middle of a lot of water, then it's going to start collecting a lot of that trash. So a lot of these remote areas end up seeing trash that's come from very far away, just because it's the first place since it entered the ocean that it's come in contact with landmass.
Who wants to say it? Anybody remember?
You do.
Iridagorgia.
Want to zoom in there?
Where's the shrimp?
Oh no.
It's breakfast time.
Free real estate.
They had to go out for a little bit.
Yeah, some shrimp should move in.
I'm shocked.
This condo's open.
I feel like there needs to be a children's book written about that relationship.
Well, one of our other science communication fellow on board right now, Justin Richards, he actually makes cartoons and was talking about possibly doing some sort of children's book based upon some things that we see.
Yep,
That would be awesome.
It is
Oh,
there?
it is there.
Oh, there it is at the bottom.
Okay. Not open for move-in. Phew.
Almost got our world turned upside down there for a second.
Yeah.
No shrimp. I love how delicate the polyps on these look.
Bridge nav. One more step, please. From the top here, you guys want to go straight to the next cone, or do you want to come down the slope in a different pattern?
I say come down the slope.
Do you want to see this other feature?
Not particularly. Yeah, actually, yeah. I think can we go towards the second little to the south towards that? Yeah.
Yep,
perfectly.
that peak.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
And then go down from there.
Roger that. It's a nice sunrise.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Come on, bio. And hello to our friends. Actually, got quite a few people coming on now on nautiluslive.org. Welcome. Thank you for joining us as we explore off of Palmyra Atoll. We've been exploring some volcanic cones to the southeast of the atoll. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So southeast of Palmyra Atoll in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. We've been looking at these cones, collected a few samples in the last watch, and looks like we've got some more bio over in the right
Mushroom
here.
coal and
Could we get a zoom on that mushroom coral closer to the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, second.
Coming down towards that other peak bearing 160.
Roger. Okay, video, you can zoom in there.
Got a tall stalk.
Did that look like that one you saw in the guide a minute ago, Allison?
Yeah. I will pull it up for you.
And so this is a cool view. You can see the polyps.
Athamastus.
The polyps of this
Tahinitis.
mushroom coral.
Tahinodus.
It's a pretty thick stalk.
Yeah. And so when those polyps close up, it sort of looks like a mushroom, which is why they are called that. But the stalked corals that we're seeing also have polyps that are just a lot smaller than the ones that we're seeing on this one. But they have tentacles too, and they're filtering that marine snow, that debris, out of the water for nutrition.
All right, come on.
I'm changing my heading to match 160.
Roger.
And if you're wondering about dimensions here, you can take a look at the two green lasers, the two dots in the middle of the screen. Those are 10 nice effect. 10 centimeters apart.
I forgot we had that
we've got
conversation.
some-
I didn't know what the
We've
hell
got
was.
some Foley artist in training on this man.
It did sound like something was like shutting down.
I was like, that's not good.
Better watch it, Steve.
I need to go to pitch coming up. Instead of coming down.
Bridge nav. Request 20 meter step bearing 180.
It's a whistle.
Due south.
Due south.
Okay, adjusting accordingly.
Hey, Steve, what are the dimensions of the Herc view right now?